What is up, everybody? I'm Jay,
I'm Christy.
and this is episode 6. And this is a pretty big episode. We are
Yeah.
finally and officially announcing Strategy Wars coming soon to a place
Mhm.
near you, wherever you live. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. But as far as this is part one. We have part two where we do bring on a bunch of guests with us to kind of explain their thought process through how they went about this.
Yeah.
And so just to kind of get the ball rolling, Chris, like in case people don't know, what is Strategy Wars?
So Strategy Wars was something we did season one with already. So we are going to talk with people from season one who had competed with us and had played along this season. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Strategy War season two, because season one was such a hit that we are going to be announcing season two and kind of talking to the people about season one, how they did it and what they think about season two going into it, and how they felt about everything. So as far as actual Strategy Wars goes, what it was basically my dream come true. That's what it was. It
Yeah,
was
same for me
Harry
too.
Potter. It was like, as you guys, I'm rocking a Harry Potter hoodie today.
We got the
I have my
owl.
I had my owl here who was a key part of it. And basically, our vision for this was to find a way to have the community be more interactive and to stick to trading one strategy without strategy hopping, because it's a common problem that we have when it comes to day trading. So we wanted to figure out a way to do it. And we came up with this game of like blending Harry Potter meets Game of Thrones type of theme. And it was just so much fun. I honestly had a blast. I know the people who participated had a great time. We had
Yeah.
tons of good feedback. The idea of it was to take the 6 strategies that we offer on the trading floor and with the trading floor community. It could be any version of how they were trading it. It just had to include that indicator, and again, could customize it and use any other concepts or versions of trading that they were using as far as analysis and markups go, and they could also include it with it. They just had to show proof of using that indicator. And when they did that, what they would do is basically assign themselves to that as their house team. That was their team that they were going to trade with for the entire month. So that was where they belonged, and that's what they stuck with. They could
Yep.
not hop around to other teams.
Nope.
So that was the idea. Basically, a trader would earn points for their team if they finished their day profitably. So if you traded profitably for the day, you would submit your points, you would submit your markups, and you would earn points
It wouldn't
for
matter if
that.
you made $1. It wouldn't matter if you made $10,000. Profit is profit. So that's what we
Yeah.
kind of wanted
Yes.
to
There was no difference
drive
whether you
home.
traded a live account, you could trade on a live, a funded, or a prop firm, and whatever you
Yeah.
wanted to trade.
Yeah.
The amount of capital you were trading with did not matter. It was just the fact that you were trading smart. So we did look at your markups. You were submitting a markup. You had to show proof of it. So we could see that you did practice safe risk management and that you had an appropriate entry. And that was a requirement in order to be able to do it. So you would submit that at the end of your trading day. And if you were profitable, you earned a point for your team.
Yep.
And then we would do it as a cumulative thing. So it was kind of geared to be more of a team-based thing. You had your team to help support you. You had private chat rooms
Mm-hmm.
where only you guys could talk, and it wasn't kind of cluttered with other people. So people who were trading your style were in there and focused on helping each other. So that was kind of the concept of it. And then the idea, obviously, like I said, the main initial goal was to keep people from strategy hopping, because it's such a bad
Yeah.
habit, such a
Yeah.
bad habit that people do. And for us, it was something that we tell people to not do, but it's so much easier said than done
Yeah.
everywhere
If you
else.
if you're
So
given a task in front of you, it's probably easier to do it than rather than just somebody saying, "Hey, don't do this." Like, don't touch the oven; it's hot, and then you're like, "Ah, I still want to touch it." So, like,
yeah.
until you touch it, then it's like, okay, I don't want to touch this again. But yeah, just to kind of iron out what Christy was saying too is, we kind of found that people, and also in Strategy Wars, you could do demo, you could do live, you could trade on funded. It does not matter.
Mhm.
We don't care. We don't care. It's just about developing you as a trader. But what we found that people kind of struggled with the transition of demo to live trading, and so we tried to add, like me and Christy being diabolical, of course, we tried to add like things like weekly twist involved to where
We did.
people would add certain points to your team that week. You swap points with other teams that week, and it like our goal. It's kind of mean, but our goal was to implement a way of giving people anxiety. Be like, oh God, like today's 2 times points. I need to
Just
I need to
help
trade.
a healthy amount of
Yeah,
anxiety.
just a healthy amount, just to get y'all like thinking, because a lot of times is people, whenever they get into like prop firms or even live trading, they put so much pressure on themselves that they can't control. Like only worry about the things that you can't control. And so the idea for the weekly twist was kind of like people's subconscious kind of being like, oh, I got to worry about this. But as long as you worried about your trading, it didn't matter because all the twists basically cancel each other out anyway. So
It was to keep it fun and interactive also because things get boring. You know, we
yeah,
know that trading can be boring and it can be a little bit kind of like redundant to be trading all the time. So to keep people excited to still keep trading and to kind of like watch your team maybe like knock another team out,
yeah. At the
there was
end, Christy did not like the twist because the
no,
Stairmasters went from first to second place to
the
lose.
rightful winners didn't win. And
Debatable. But yeah,
no, but the twists were really fun, and there was some like conniving and manipulating that we got to do within the rooms, and that was kind of like my idea of like the Game of Thrones thing. So it was kind of fun to kind of put it in there, keep people who were really into it like interactive, other fellow nerds who like that kind of stuff were like really feeling the vibe and the themes of it, which is super cool. And I think that we also just to keep people trading. But as Jay said, if you didn't really enjoy the twist, I apologize if you were in season one, or if you're not too much into them for season two, we do apologize. The goal here, it
we
does
did
not
change
affect
them
the
up. Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't affect the overall goal of the idea of it, which is to keep you consistently trading something so you can see how you have progressed over a month and not hopping around. Because when you hop around, it's hard to see progression.
Yeah.
When you're staying consistent, you're going to form better habits, and we know that. So you're going to form better habits and you could actually track your progress. So that's something I'm excited to talk to the guys about,
I
and
know
guys and
it's gonna
gals.
be
Let me not say just guys, but
guys
yeah,
and gals,
guys
fun
and
fact.
gals,
But
to bring them on and see how they did. I'm excited to see what they say.
if this interests you at all, please feel free to drop down the description below and look at the trade floor. Consider
Yeah.
us. And so also what we'll do in the meantime, because we will be making more videos about this. Christy had made a YouTube video in the past that we'll link in the description below of us explaining season one strategy wars in July before it happened in August. And then we'll also link a video that already made kind of like an outro to TTF almost at TTF strategy wars of season one, to where he goes over kind of the results and what happened and how he went about trading it. So
Yeah, he's kind of reviews like what happened and like all the data tracking that we do, which is like a ton, you guys. Like there's so much data tracking that we do. Commissioner Jay here, who is our official commissioner of the Trading Floor Strategy Wars.
yeah,
He was the one who keeps track of everything, and like the numbers we keep are really cool, and we do it on purpose to be able to like show you guys
yeah.
all the numbers. But yeah, it was really really fun to see, and Artie does show all of our numbers in his video, so definitely check it out. If you're curious about the concept of how it went, check out my video. That'll be linked like Jay said. And then if you want to just see like how did it go, what were the results,
Yeah.
who won, what was the vibe of it,
Check
what
out
did
Artie's.
everybody kind of look, check out Artie's.
And so lastly, just to reiterate for some of the newer traders who might be a little too shy and be like, oh, I don't want my name out there. It is anonymous. You are known as trader number blank, and people won't know who you are. Even until the end, I asked people, I sent out a Google form afterwards to be like, would you like to be named on the leaderboard if you would make it at the end? And you could say yes, you could say no, completely fine, up to us. You'll just remain as trader number 23. So if you're worried about like your privacy, it's completely fine.
Yeah, we keep it anonymous on purpose. We don't want anybody,
Yeah,
one, it's like we don't want people doing stupid stuff just for clout. I don't know why you guys feel that me, but we know we get it. People do it, like that's the
yeah.
reality of it. People do it for attention, but at the end of the day, it's all about you and your trading. And number two is some people don't like to be bothered. So like if you are doing really well and you're just trying to focus on your trading, we don't want you guys DMing them a ton and
Yeah,
like,
no,
you
no.
know, and so everybody is very active in the chats though. And what I will say is all of the top traders were very active in the chats. So if you needed help, like you will know who to
Yeah.
ask. And season two, we will be having some key players in each of
So
the
we
strategy
won't be
groups.
going into too much detail, but with that being said,
No, I won't.
we're now gonna move to part two, where we'll bring in some of the all-stars from season
Yay.
one and get their takes from the previous season and see what they liked about it. Good eye, everybody. Good eye, Chris.
Good day.
Good day.
Good eye, good
Good
eye.
day. Good day.
So this is part two of the Strategy War announcement podcast, and as you could see, we clearly have multiplied. We have a lot of people with us, which we're
Yeah,
super
we have a
happy
full
to
house
have.
here.
these people are all stars of the previous season 1 Strategy Wars, and basically what that means is they were very active and they were really good contributors, maybe both. But we're very happy to have them on, and Christy's going to introduce them soon. And so, basically, what I want to go over is kind of their thoughts on the whole process, what they thought about going into it, what they thought during, and what they thought after, and just kind of give an idea of like what they actually went through. And after that, I'm very excited. I know Jinx is like on the edge of his seat here, but we have a season 2 hype video that he and Bear created. Great job. But we're going to get to that at the end of the video. So without further ado, Christy, let's introduce them to everybody here.
So we have a few people here with us. I'm going to go in alphabetical order just to keep it easy, because I have no clue where you guys are on the screen. Whenever we're recording, you all end up somewhere different.
Yeah,
so
true.
To keep it simple, alphabetically or go in order. So we have Ken here, who is showing up on our screen for you guys as RD 2.0. If you guys are listening, this is Ken. He did represent 3-line strikers, but he's also like doing 2 people's jobs today, because for season 2, he will be taking over brute force as well, and kind of representing that more, because it didn't get quite the love it deserved in season 1. And that is due to the fact that we had a lot of people out on vacation during the time we were doing season 1. So there weren't really enough people to represent brute force, but it is actually a pretty good strategy. And in mine and Jay's opinion, probably one of the easiest strategies.
Yeah, for sure.
To like work with or like add in your own version of whatever you're doing with. So Ken is actually going to be representing that. So we brought him on to talk about that, and to also kind of represent for Artie, since he works as Artie 2.0 for us. Artie was unable. Yeah, Artie's unable to make this call, unfortunately, due to the fact that he's across the pond in a way different time zone. So, that's okay. So Ken is going to be talking about that on behalf of Artie and how he performed, as well as talking about brute force and his experience from season 1 and going into season 2, what he's looking forward to. Next, we have Jinx, who you can wave, Jinx. So people, there you go.
There you
go. Stay perfectly still.
Yes, stay still so no one knows who you guys are. No, Jinx is here with us. He will be representing DeLorean Delta Force. He is a hardcore shit talker. I don't know how else to explain it. Yep. So
yeah,
Jinx,
they're known as the DeLorean DGens for a reason, but it's okay.
No, he did really good. He finished up in the top 25 on the individual leaderboards during season 1, and actually did amazing as far as like his progression. So I think that's really cool, and I'm very grateful to have you here to talk to us. So thank you for coming on. Next, we have Happy Trail, Miss Navy. You guys have met her already in episode 3 when we were talking about prop firms.
You can wave, Navy. All right, she's waving. She's waving, guys.
You can see it.
We can see it.
For those of you in audio land, you can't see us. For those of you watching, Miss Navy, it's like 2 a.m. in the morning for her, and I appreciate her even coming on. Some technical difficulties, but we've seen who she is, and we all know who she is. So you guys, if you haven't already, check out episode 3, where she talks about prop firms and trading profitably with them and her experience with them. But she also did compete in Strategy Wars season 1 and represented Happy Trail. Unbeknownst to her, she had to become the unofficial coach of that team, because I ditched them and went to Stairmaster. So big thank you for what you did for Happy Trail. I really do appreciate that. And I think you were pretty high up there too. You weren't on the
top
super
10.
high. You were like, you were really high up on the leaderboard too. So I think 3rd or something like that for Happy Trail's team or something. So it's really good. Lemons is here. So hi, Lemons. You can wave as well. Good day, mate. That kills me every time. Anyway, so he did finish in the top 5 leaderboard, individual leaderboard, which is amazing to be in the top 5 traders that participated. We had over like 300 something people, so that's huge.
That's a lot.
So big congratulations to you for that. And then, you represented the Outback Outlaws, which Jay technically did compete on, but not that much.
It was a lot to
maintain. You were busy being a commissioner. It's okay. So
you were on holiday as well, though, bro.
Yeah, true. It's
holiday
plus commissioner duties. I enjoyed commissioner though; it's fun.
Jay times his holidays pretty poorly. I'm just gonna say.
No, it's pretty good.
No, I disagree.
Debatable.
But anyhow, Lemons is going to represent them because he truly did trade it throughout the entire time and did fabulous as well. So they did not finish. You guys finished fourth place.
Fourth? Yeah.
Yeah, but we had some really good individual traders. That's all I'm saying.
That's what I was gonna say. I actually think that although you finished fourth place, your team probably should have had a better ending because you had
some heavy hitters.
I
think we
really,
had
really
some three people inside the top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had one guy, one guy or girl, who knows who it is, I have no idea, but finished joint first.
Joint first.
Yeah.
Christy, you got anything to say about that?
My bane of my existence. I had to wake up every morning to compete because of that.
I was just happy.
Too competitive.
I was happy that Lemons, as a true Aussie, like traded Outback, unlike another Aussie in this call, but we won't go into detail about that.
We don't want to call anyone out, do we?
No, we're not.
Especially if she's having trouble with her camera.
Yeah,
it's
crazy.
We've already established, Jay, that she's Team Christy, so she was going Happy Trail, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But
even though Christy ditched me.
I know. Guilty.
But
all right, and then
last and definitely least.
No. Jay's not gonna read mine. I saw what he wrote on this script.
No, I know it's a perfect script. The last and definitely least, we have Christy, who was basically the commander of the Samurai, the Stairmaster Samurai, and she tied first, unfortunately, on the individual leaderboard with a great Outback trader, but she got extremely lucky, and she'll forever complain about coming out to second to Jinx. So. DeLorean,
so you guys know Jay likes to write up these little mini scripts, and I read. He was like writing up what Christy says this part. So I'm like, okay. And I always kind of like go through them quickly. And I'm like, Jay, every time. But I don't look until like the morning of that we're going to do these things.
I know she doesn't look.
I know he counts on it. I have learned to trust Jay, but I don't know why. Cause like every time he'll try to sneak in these things. Like he probably expected me to just read that. Like, oh, and then I represented Christy and I got extremely lucky. That's like, nice try, Jay. One of these days.
What they say. The harder I work, the luckier I get, hey?
Yeah.
Usually, but like Christy's like kind of an anomaly with that. So
anyway, no, I did represent the Stairmaster Samurais, and there were actually so many other people. I did reach out to one other person who did finish also in the top 5, who was also a samurai trader, but unfortunately they were not able to join us today. So I will talk on their behalf, but I did represent them, and I mean, I'll agree. I got lucky, but we'll talk about that when we get into a little bit of the questions. So there's some luck there. There was some skill, Jay. And as far as being bitter for first place, 100% agree with that fact.
I mean, you'll get over it. Like once you lose again in season 2, you'll be fine. You'll get over it.
No. All right. Okay. So let's get into some questions here. And we'll talk to you guys about your experience, like what you liked about it, what you didn't like. So, Jay, do you want to ask some questions?
We can go back and forth. So,
okay.
Jinx, you look really prepared to answer this. So, what was your like? I'm just gonna call people out. They're not ready. No, but what were your like expectations coming into season 1? Because like nobody's really ever done this before, and like, what was your idea?
So, I'm very competitive, so I wanted to win, but at the same time, I was like really struggling to be consistent, and that was my personal goal. I wanted to get consistent over the month of August, and I was like a little bit of a strategy hopper, so the whole lock into one strat thing was really good for me. So that was kind of like my expectation was just actually sticking to something for a month, because that was the only way I could score for my team. So kind of worked out for me, I guess.
Did you find it beneficial? Like, did you find it hard to not strategy hop, or were you like ever tempted at any point during the month to be like, maybe if I just sneak this in, they won't know?
So at the beginning, I was strategy hopping within DeLorean. Kind of what I mean by that is I was looking for different ways to find my like dynamic support and resistance. I wanted to find the way that worked for me, because I didn't feel like I was getting the entries quite that I wanted out of DeLorean. So I was playing with like whole moving average. I was actually playing with the fractals from Stairmaster. because I thought it would be fun to post winning trades using your guys' support and resistance.
Mm.
But that's
Salt
fine.
in the wound.
Yeah, but hey, it didn't work out, so that's fine too.
No.
But yeah, but in the end, halfway through the month, I just kind of abandoned all that. I just rewatched like Roxy's intermediate DeLorean video like 5 times, and went back at it just kind of like the base intermediate DeLorean. So yeah, at the end, like when I quit strategy hopping within DeLorean, it all ended up clicking for me too. So that was like my last little bastion of strategy hopping at the beginning of August. So
I mean,
yeah, so
it worked.
yeah,
I
absolutely.
will say, and Jay and I have said this before when talking about it, like with you guys that we do on the Fridays, like when we would talk like a recaps, that DeLorean, honestly, like, I mean, and I've said that I actually have talked to Jenks about this, and I actually think it gives awful signals. Like, I'm going to full on call out our own indicator. I think it gives
No, yeah.
terrible signals on its own. But what people don't realize is it was never meant to be traded on its own. Like, it's not meant to be like that. It's meant to be traded with other thing like price action. You have to be using it because that is how Roxy and Hawks, who mainly trade this style, that's how they trade. They are very, very into price action, market structure, analysis. Like everything has to get done before you even get that signal. So me and Jay, really, that's the hardest strategy by far. Like
You have to do so much grunt
you
work.
have to be really good
Yeah.
to make it work. But it goes to show that with you guys coming in first place, technically second by points, I mean this and this, and this isn't shade, this is being for real, because skill wise you have to be good, but point wise you were just a little under. You were a little under. But anyway, but what I'm trying to say is like you guys obviously had to be really good traders to be able to do that, and it shows because learning those basics, it shows how important knowing those basics are and applying them to your trading is. You know what I mean? Like that's the key, the markup, the analysis. Like the indicator itself is only going to be as good as the person who knows how to apply it and use it. And I think DeLorean was an amazing example of showing how you can do that, like how you can still take an indicator strategy, but you can turn it into something like really, really good. And you guys, like, man, you guys definitely tore up.
Yeah.
And what else is amazing about you guys is most of you only trade NAS. So you only had
With
only
one
had
instrument.
one session with
instrument.
one
Yep.
instrument. And I was like, that's pretty impressive that this is like this. So also super, super supportive chat room. We as higher up the admins and the big bankers and could see all of the chat rooms, which was really cool. Those of you who don't know, there were hidden chat rooms to keep it a little bit of a rivalry, to keep it fun.
It's just kind of mysterious. You don't know what's happening.
So yeah, to keep the twist and also to keep people from being tempted to strategy hop. So they didn't all know what was going on, but watching it from an outsider's point of view, it was really, really amazing to see how supportive DeLorean was, like even for people at bad days. So yeah, huge congrats to you guys in DeLorean. And I'm glad that it was a good experience for you.
Thank you.
All right. Go ahead, Jay.
So my fellow outlaw, Lamone.
G'day.
Good day. Hey, good day, of course. But I know you were sort of newer to trading. You can kind of go into detail if you want about that. But did you make any breakthroughs, I'd say, like during the competition? If so, like what did you kind of find about your trading yourself? Did it force you to overtrade? Did it not force you to overtrade? And kind of like how did it go about,
Yeah, I don't think, to be honest, when I first started, I was trading like so many times a day. So actually, even though I had to trade every day, I don't feel like I was over trading. And as far as breakthroughs, I think having that individual chats, the Outback chat, I felt like I was able to get a lot more knowledge from yourself. But the Forex cycle, never heard of that. Some of the SMC stuff that Sven put down as well, and just being able to kind of, it felt a lot more intimate. You're able to chat to people, whereas some of the general chat stuff, you can write a question and it'll be gone because other people are asking so many questions at the same time as well. And I felt that the strategy, by sticking to sort of one strategy, I mean, I didn't really do too much strategy hopping because I didn't do any strategy when I first came into this. I was like, okay, I'll come in. I'll see what it's like. And first day I was like, oh yeah, there's an Outback. There's a little kangaroo. I'll just jump on that one. And it was a good one. And then the next day, oh look, there's a nice little kangaroo. I'll just jump on that one. It was
Oh,
great.
where'd you
It was
come from, little buddy?
So I think the whole point of the strategy was making sure that everyone stuck to their strategy, and that really helped me. I think not looking at other people's strategies, just sticking to my own and just sticking to my rules, and it worked out really beneficial for me.
I mean, yeah, top 5
Were
individual.
yeah, right? And never like new to trading. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
exactly.
Yeah,
Were
that's
you
amazing.
Yeah, I actually almost think it goes to show that people kind of get wrapped up in the strategy hopping, and they'll have like 1 or 2 bad days, and then they're just like, oh, this strategy doesn't work, and then they move on in the beginning, and they're constantly looking for this like perfect win rate all the time. But it goes to show, if you just stuck with it for a month as a newer trader,
Yeah.
like, and you ended up in top 5 out of like 300 some traders, many of them have a lot more experience or been doing this longer than you. Like, that's pretty crazy. And it just kind of goes to show, like, almost like if you don't have a bad habit to break, like,
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
Yeah.
then you just
ignorance is bliss, to where you
yeah,
never
like
really
That's-
had
yeah,
an option.
that's-
So
yeah,
I
it's
think
kind of cool.
that's what was really beneficial as well, because when I first started learning about all this, I just came straight into this community. I didn't have any kind of other background. I mean, I signed up to what was it, eToro initially, and they gave me like they gave me like $50 free or something like that, and I stuck it on a cryptocurrency and then lost it, and
Yeah, it's gone.
and all that stuff. I'm like, I should probably find something to learn off, But just coming into this and not having any bad habits to break, I absolutely like demolished all of your videos pretty quickly. So I had a lot of free time back in the month of July, and so just went to town. I got a nice little book filled with all my little notes, and
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I think the community is absolutely awesome, and I don't think I wouldn't be anywhere near where what I was doing if I didn't have it. So
Oh,
yes,
thank you.
Well, no,
Well,
you
thank
are the
you.
reason
No.
why the community is
Yeah.
awesome. So
Yeah, you guys are, like, honestly, and I love that you kind of come in with that different perspective where it's like you're not jaded already. There's actually a study that was done, a long time ago, and I won't bore you guys with that kind of stuff, but it actually was a study that they talk about where they take people who are from all different like career paths and things like that, and they teach them like a strategy. They teach them all the same rules, and then they follow them up to see like how do they do, and they don't know any better. All they know is the one thing that they were taught, and they actually are successful and profitable because that's all they know. And then the people who try to like go off and like make their own little versions and like not follow the rules ended up not being as profitable. People who just stuck to the rules, just did what they were told to do, ended up being profitable. It is a long time ago. Obviously, the markets have changed now and data has changed now, but it was a really interesting thing to see where you're like, wow, if you just follow the rules. And the big thing is like people just don't follow the rules. They think they know better sometimes. And not that you shouldn't ever feel like you shouldn't play with things, but like you did what you were told to do. You stayed with one strategy, stuck with it. You came in every day, you found a cute little kangaroo and you said, all right, what should I do with this kangaroo? I mean, it worked. It worked for you. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
That is really, really cool. And I mean, I'm happy that the community is working out
Yeah.
well for you. So and did you feel like you made some friends? Like, do you think it was easier for you to come into the community and have a smaller room like that, like to work with?
Absolutely. Like just having the same people to talk to. We're on a little bit of different time zones, so I do sometimes wake up and there's a whole bunch of chat that I'm like, oh my goodness, like, but
gotta
yeah,
catch up.
I mean, there's a few people. I won't call out the names. The number one, the best Outback.
Chatterbox.
She's out there, and she's
she is.
she's been great. Roots as well. Oh, I said I wasn't going to call out everyone's names, but I
But
mean,
yeah.
being able to being able to chat with them and just throw some ideas about, it's been great.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. Now, my last question for you is, did you pick Outback because you're from Australia? Were you like, drawn to the
Yeah.
kangaroos,
There's
where
no
you're
other
like,
option, Chris. There's literally
Yeah.
no other
Absolutely.
option.
all
Yeah.
right,
It's
all right.
Outback or
Well,
lose all your trades. You know, it's like
well, Miss Navy, they're calling you out on your patriotism here, I think, is what's happening.
we
That's
can
okay.
move to her, Chris.
All right, yeah. Go ahead, Jay. I was yapping a bunch.
Oh, that's okay. So Navy, good eye.
Today.
That's what I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about. So, as y'all previously known from past episode, Navy is more of an experienced I would say closer to advanced trader, honestly, at this point. So, Navy, what I'm curious about. Oh, she might be like,
That's
but
a big deal.
no.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big.
You got the A word in there.
You're a big deal. You're a big deal. But I'm actually curious. Like, did you go back and I wouldn't say like maybe like log August how it went, but did you see how like you traded in during strategy wars compared to like previous months? Like, was it better? Was it worse? Was it kind of neutral? Like, did you find certain things you did better because you were like kind of, I wouldn't say restricted, but like you had to like meet certain things for strategy wars? So like I'm curious, like what happened?
Okay, so for strategy war, I did do a little bit, I guess a little bit differently, because before I was trading 15 minutes, and with Happy Trailer, you get the signals, sometimes not valid, and it's really slow. So I did change up a little bit and did the 1 minute trading, so similar to what Christy did with Stairmaster, sorry. So that was kind of what I did. So essentially for the whole of August, that was my challenge, to stay on 1 minute, which is out of my comfort zone, and just kind of trade it in a way that I would normally trade 15 minutes, but obviously it's a 1 minute, so it's faster. So that was the challenge, sticking to the routine and just going through it. So every single day I would obviously lodge my trade, see how it went, and then throughout the month I would jump back and see on 15-minute time frame, would I have a trade on this day? Would it have been, successful? So yeah, in a way that because I wanted to score points for my team, I wanted to get like a trade in that was profitable, and that when we jump over to the 1 minute. But in the end, it did help me realize that I was able to pull off 1 minute, and it helped me with my trading now. So ways that I could kind of fluctuate between 1 and 15 minutes. So yeah, it's only because of the strategy war that I have ventured towards 1 minute trading. But if it wasn't for strategy war, I would have stayed at 15 minutes.
That's actually like really cool because it increases like your arsenal. So like if like someday you can't really trade the 15-minute because you maybe only have like an hour or hour, like a half an hour, like you could just drop on the 1 minute, see if you see something, and then like go about that. Because Krista kind of does that too, I feel like.
That's exactly right.
I was in the same thing as Miss Navy with Stairmaster, and to be fair, Stairmaster and Happy Trail are similar-ish. They're not the same strategies. They do utilize a little bit different indicators, but the idea of them being like momentum breakout type of strategies is the same concept. So I mean, I think it's really cool that you took that and went to 1 minute, because I think if I had done Happy Trail, I would have been forced to do the same as well, just because if you're really trying to get the points every day for your team, you do need to have an entry, and you don't want to be stuck having only one entry a day. You need to have kind of a few that you can look at and say like, where's the best entry, so that way you're taking the best trade to potentially get the best results. But I love that you did that on 1 minute time frame, and I thought it was really cool that you were doing that over there. I think a couple of people kind of took from you and started doing the same thing, or trying to do something similar with 1 minute. And I mean, it definitely, you guys did well. I mean, you were in third place, so like that's really, really good. You guys definitely did really great. And I think that you guys actually had a decent amount of traders on there, but people who weren't really familiar enough. So I am not really looking at you guys as potentially
Dark horse.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at them as
right.
potentially a real problem for season 2, because I think we have people come in who were like just looking to have fun and try it out and try something new for a month, but they did well. So now I'm a little concerned for season 2 that like, man, I got DeLorean coming for us. We got Happy Trail right there on our heels. There was a point I thought that maybe Happy Trail, you guys
Coming
were
for
like
you.
one. Yeah.
Hey, don't
Come-
sleep on
come-
the
You have to
Kangas.
finish first for them to be coming for you.
I don't know. They were almost at one point. There was a wheel spin away where I was like, yikes, this could be bad news. They could take us. But yeah, no, you did amazing in it. And I think it's awesome. We also did have on the episode two, I'm messing them all up because of the way we record. Episode 2, we
Yeah.
did have Alex on who talked about smart money concept, and he
Yeah.
did also Happy Trail as
Did
well.
very well as well.
And did very well as well. And I thought it was really cool that he, kind of talked about how he takes the concept of smart money concept. And like I was talking with Jinx about it, like all of the strategies were never meant to be like you only have to follow the rule-based version we give you. We actually didn't encourage that. We want
No,
you
yeah.
to do your own analysis and then learn how you can still use indicators, because indicators sometimes can get a bad rep for being like, lagging, or they're not reliable, or this or that. And the idea is like, yeah, you shouldn't ever rely on just an indicator. You should do your marking up, your analysis, then use the indicator as a tool to help you for convenience. And things like the 1 minute time frame, or 5 minute time frame, like those are really nice to kind of give you that extra confluence when you can have a lot of noise and consolidation happening on those time frames. So having an indicator sometimes can be like a little bit more helpful, a little extra reassuring. It also helped us be able to see what the heck you guys are doing, because we're like, if we just let them post, we're gonna have no clue what people are doing. So it was really, really cool. But congratulations, Miss Davy.
Yes, ma'am.
You did amazing. Okay.
Maybe.
Good day, of
Um,
course. Good day.
Good. All
Good
right.
night, Ian.
I kind of want to bring this up, and I open the floor to anybody who wants to answer this question. But me personally, I kind of started out with this, and then Christy jumped on the bandwagon. But we wanted to kind of be diabolical, and that's why we had added the weekly twist kind of in there. And people didn't realize, because I had shown a leaderboard after season 1, but even after all the twists were taken out, all the rankings were still the exact same. I had done it to where it wasn't perfect, but like kind of all the numbers cancel each other out. And our idea of the weekly twist was to kind of simulate more of a prop firm environment where people worry about like I have to make 8 to 10% in a month, like, or they just add certain pressures that they don't need to put into their head, that they add pressures that they can't control. And so what we wanted to do was, with the weekly twist, we wanted to add pressures into people's heads, like, oh, this day matters more than that day. And I'm just curious, out of like everyone here, like, did the twist actually affect y'all, or like did it kind of bridge the gap more between just kind of, if you did trade a demo, because people were able to trade demo funded or live depending, but if you were to trade a demo like going into live, like would you say it kind of bridged the gap closer to where you kind of had like you were put more pressures on yourself? So anybody?
Ooh.
For me, it didn't.
Well, you're a beast.
No.
Cam.
Yeah, I mean, you've been around a while. I feel
Yeah, no, I would
But
say
I
the
mean-
same. Because it did make it fun, like knowing something that's going to happen on that particular day, especially if you got one of those, swap points days or times 2. So it was fun knowing that those days something's going to happen, so it makes you want to trade. But in regards to that kind of pressure, I wouldn't say so. No.
You're
So-
also a beast too, Navy. So like,
We got some heat for it. Yeah, we got some heat for it.
Okay.
But I don't feel bad for putting the twist in. So although they cost me first place, so I'll be the first to admit they
Jinx,
cost us
Lemons,
first
Yeah.
place.
what y'all think?
Yeah.
I think it's stuff like you wanna perform for your team every day. Like, I mean, if you get into it, you get into it. Like, let's face it, some of us got really into Strat Wars. So if you're into it, you're into it, and you wanna score like no matter what. So if you know that it's a day where you're gonna score double for your team, like you're all the more enticed. So I can definitely see the angle where that might force people to be looking for entries when there might not really be an entry there. I know I would just always be looking for entries. Like you had said, I was on the 1 minute on the NAS. So there's always entries. They're not always good entries though. And that's something I learned throughout the month was patience. And early on in the month, it was take every trade I could see, get comfortable with my system, take every single trade. And then by the end, it's like, oh, even though I'm on the 1 minute and I'm looking at it for 2 hours, it's still all about the patience. It's all about finding that one setup.
Absolutely.
So, and I think like, in a way, Strat Wars, so part of my mentality for Strat Wars was trade my setup all the time, every single day, so that I could gather data on it, so that I could be scoring for my team on it. And, like I would take a couple practice trades in like TradingView, and then I'd like go for like my one really high probability setup on MT4 or 5 that day. And then I'd get it and then I'd post it and I'd be super pumped. And then some days I wouldn't get it and that'd be fine. But I think like you were talking earlier about like the following the rules, like that's what became important by the end. The other thing that I kind of felt bad about with the twist was with the swap days. Like there might so everybody knew we were taking Stairmaster's points, or we were gunning for Stairmaster when DeLorean had the swap day choice. And I kind of felt bad because I felt like there were a lot of people in Stairmaster who were trying to go for the same streak that you were, Christy. So
Yeah.
it kind of forced them to not post. And that's my only kind of regret. Like I'm sure you guys did the same thing that we did when we were kind of afraid of being victim, where you still trade, you just don't necessarily go post it in testimonies. Like if you wanted to trade and you wanted to kind of keep
Sneaky.
up your consistency, you know,
We did what we didn't do was target the first place team, knowing that would have given us an immediate win. We decided to target the last place, and we said we'll swap with the last place team and we'll take their points. And we took the risk of saying, if nothing else, they may not submit points because they weren't submitting very regularly. And we said, well, we'll just keep our own points, because if we win first place, we want to win on our own, not with your dirty DeLorean points.
sorry
No.
that
No, we did not play
That
it.
was good.
We
It
weren't
was
going to
fun.
win that way. We weren't going to win that way, and you guys had been carrying first for a while, so we are like, it's cheap. It's a cheap way to win first place, and we didn't do it that way.
the twists were
but-
fun.
But
anyway,
the
though.
twist, it worked out fun for us because the pressure of being like, is Brute Force going to post like all day long? We're like, are they going to
Yeah.
post? Are they going to post? There were a lot of fun twists. And I think for me, maybe for like people like Miss Navy, I know Jinx, you got really into it and you're a newer trader. Actually, I think all of you guys, I'm looking at all of you thinking everybody kind of got into it to a point.
Everybody got into it.
And I appreciate it because it was my dream. Like, this is my vision of like having Harry Potter meets Game of Thrones, and like,
Yeah,
I was like,
stand up
maybe-
because they came and see.
Oh, yeah.
They came
I
and
know.
see your
I
sweatshirt.
came in my Harry
Oh.
Potter gear. I have my little Harry Potter
Yeah, her
alley.
alley. Yeah, that's
Allie,
That's
alley.
awesome.
Representing Allie was our postmate who would, in order to get mail, for those of you guys who don't know, in order to get mail to another room, if you wanted to like shit talk
Negotiate.
or negotiate or make, truces with teams, Allie was our like mascot bird that would deliver the mail. So that way it was like
An
a
owl.
Didn't work out so
disappeared.
well for some
Yeah.
of us.
it didn't work out for us so
True.
well. But anyway, it was fun. And like, to me, this was like, I thought maybe like 10 other like geeks out there would be interested in doing this with me and would be like, oh, this would be fun. But I mean, it turned out to be awesome that like 300 some people were down for it. So I was like, cool. But season 2, I only felt it was fair, and we'll talk about it when we get into it. But we kind of let Jay
Yeah.
explore his fantasies for season 2. But we'll talk about that in a
I
minute.
will say, without
but
giving
yeah, it
anything
was really
away,
cool.
the twists like this season are more along the lines of performance based.
Jay was trying to go hard on y'all. I was like, you can't be mean like that. He was
How
going
much more
rough.
pressure can we put
I'm
on these
gonna
guys?
be. I'm gonna be a little more mean. I was nice. I was nice season
He-
1 with the twist. But
He
I
thought
wanted
that
to-
you were nice. I was nice. You weren't trying to be mean. I was like, you
Debatable.
can't be negative.
Yeah,
So
now you're just
I mean,
putting words in my mouth. But
the problem is like we obviously we get into the game and we think it's fun, and for experienced traders, it's fun to keep entertained. The truth is, trading can be boring, it can
True.
get monotonous, and when you're doing it alone every day by yourself, like stuff like this is fun. It's fun to every couple of like months like spice it up a little bit, have something different, have some camaraderie with a smaller team. I really did enjoy that. The Discord is amazing, and I love how busy it is, and the chats are always moving. But as you guys are saying, sometimes it's hard to like connect or feel like a connection and feel like you're getting that help. And I really liked that the rooms were individualized and you
Yeah.
could get the help if you needed it. And Stairmaster was a smaller team. There's only like probably like 13 or 14 of us
still really
actually
active
talking,
though.
but still really active and like every day talking. And I thought it was really, really awesome to be able to have that like smaller vibe and be able to like work with people on that level. So that was really fun for me. But yeah, so anyway, let's do a couple more
Cool.
questions because I do have a couple of. Do you have a couple more questions? Trey?
Yeah, no. Y'all, a lot of y'all could answer this, but I want to kind of pinpoint Ken because Christy kind of went over this little tidbit at the beginning. But
Mhm.
Ken, so what do you specifically like look forward to this coming season for Strategy Wars?
Trading more.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
yeah,
fair.
that's a great answer.
Um,
Just ended there. No?
One liner, that's all we
Um,
need.
I look, what's really amazing is the camaraderie you get within the channel.
Yeah.
And how they work to improve it, if the strategy, if there's a way to do that. I just like the camaraderie in there and the competitiveness of the strategy wars.
Me too.
Yeah, so And I'm looking forward to trading a different strategy this time around.
Yeah.
That's
So are
pretty
you
exciting.
looking forward to being a captain? Are you like a little nervous that we're gonna make you a captain?
No, I mean, maybe a little, because I mean, I hear all this talk about Stairmaster and Outback and DeLorean, and like,
Mm.
please, Brute
He's
Force,
got
we're
ice in
coming
his
after
veins.
you.
The butchers.
Yeah, I mean, you are the brute force butchers, so we'll see. I mean, I think what people don't know is that we're actually all working on the revamp currently. So that will be going out like the week before Strategy Wars starts. So you guys will have a chance to see that and maybe make a decision if you wanted to swap teams
Take a
or
leap of
try
faith.
and trade it. Yeah. I
No
think
chance.
Nah. Well, you guys are vets. I think a lot of the vets are pretty well in place
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
But I am curious to see how it goes with that. But I'm excited to see what you do with it. I think that if they had had a little bit of more leadership, they really would have
The
done
timing was
well.
just kind of bad because I feel like right when we were getting
Right.
into doing brute force content,
Yeah.
we did strategy wars. So it was like, well, sorry,
Yeah,
brute
so you guys will
force.
get to see that a little bit more. So
Yeah,
if you were like,
we're excited
nah,
about
you might
that.
change your mind. So
I
yeah,
think it's
I'm
I think
excited
it's a
to
good
see what you do with
strategy.
them, Ken.
Like it's not just bound to the 1 hour too. We just haven't done content. Like I've been seeing an individual actually in the brute force chat on the 5 minute, I believe, doing really
Mhm.
well with it. So
Yeah. Well, that's the thing for me too. I wouldn't mind going up a little bit in the time frame. So that's, I'm looking at it at the hour, on the hour and the 15-minute.
Mhm.
A lot of 15-minute,
yeah,
but also on the 5.
Yeah,
Um,
let's see.
So
possibilities are
crossed.
endless. Yeah,
exactly.
I just
Possibilities are endless because it is just a moving average crossing, and you can change your moving averages. It doesn't have to stay those
Yes.
moving averages. So people don't realize like you can play with your settings, you can do whatever you want. You just have to figure out how to make that little kangaroo or that rocket ship or the
smiley
like
face.
smiley face. They just have to print, and we just have to see that it printed. I don't care if you follow somebody's like time rules or their pairs, or if you guys have the freedom to do that. So there is a lot of customizing you can do and playing around. And I think that with season 2, people have started to realize that. So I've started to see some people send me some stuff like getting prepared for it. And I'm excited to see how much people do with the strategies. Like I was so blown away with season 1, but like season 2, I'm really excited to see what you guys do. Yeah.
Yeah. Keep it simple. I mean,
Mhm.
the more
That's
you
it.
try to
Yeah.
add on to it, it's just, I think the
Yeah.
Counteracts.
less beneficial,
You'll talk yourself out of it.
Yeah.
So that's what
Yeah.
happens. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Would y'all recommend strategy wars for people, or would y'all like kind of like try out the strategy first? Hello, doggo.
Lucky. Is that the name? Lucky?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lucky.
Yeah. Would y'all do demo
Lucky
first,
said
or would you
yes.
just jump? Oh, she said yeah. So like,
Yes.
what would y'all do? Like, would y'all recommend this? What do y'all do? And like, just kinda-
Absolutely, without a doubt. This is your chance to try out a strategy, see if it works for you, see if it fits for you, and then you have your own private chat room to discuss it with your teammates. And you can, from day 1 to the final day, you can see the improvement. Find out for yourself if the strategy you choose is right for you. If it is, great. If it's not, the next strategy war, try a different strategy.
I agree.
Because I think it's mostly you got to find out your strategy, but you also got to do it enough to know whether it works or not. You can't do it over 1 or 2 trades, and having it so you're trading the whole month.
Excellent point.
You're refining it. I think it's also great the fact that you have to post your markups and things like that, so that it's almost like you're doing your journal, which is a great thing. And I when I first came in, I was like, why do you have to journal? Like that's just
Accountability.
it's strange.
Yeah.
But looking back,
I
over
think
my
that's what
trades-
everybody does when
Yeah,
they first come in.
absolutely.
I have to do a journal.
Nah,
What?
forget this. Too much
Journal?
work.
No.
What are those?
What, do I have to write down my feelings or something?
I mean, you can if you want.
Yeah, well, I have been doing that actually, but I know some people like to put down little memes in their little journal as well. That's always a good way to
Yeah,
go
we
as well.
appreciate those people.
But yeah, you can look back at every single trade that you took during that month, and you can go, oh yeah, you know, this is where, and you can kind of see the improvement as you're making it. You can refine things if you want to, or you can just, you know, take it as it is. You know, take that kangaroo, get the profit. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Easy as
Yeah.
that.
I wanted to say too, to tack on, like with Jay, what you're saying, if you're on the
Mm.
fence about strategy wars, just do it. Just pick a team and just do it. It's so much fun, and nothing will like progress you faster than being pushed by your peers. Because we
Absolutely.
all just kind of, in a good way, no one's holding each other accountable in like a really negative way. We're all there to
Yeah.
boost each other up on our good days and our bad days. And I
Mhm.
truly believe just nothing pushes us faster than like the good community, for sure. Like it, and the strat wars really hones in on that.
Yeah,
Because
it's not like a. I'm sorry. It's not like
No, you're good.
a. It's not like a. Why didn't you post today? Like, why aren't you
Oh,
making
No,
points? It's
yeah,
more
no.
not at
like
all.
a. It's more like
Exactly.
a.
Yeah.
Post
Yeah.
your loss. Like we could see what happened. Like let's try
Yeah,
and fix
help
that. So
out.
like next day it'll like be better. So yeah, I agree. Like to tack on you.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
it's great
positivity.
for any new traders. Yeah, like Lemons, you were a new guy. I'm still relatively new in this whole thing. Like it was awesome just seeing people go through like literally the same struggles you had, and you know, seeing people take the same losers that you do. It feels
Yeah.
good, but it also feels amazing when you see people take the same winners you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Mm.
that's really, really cool. And I think if you're on the fence for strategy wars, just go for it. Just pick a team, any team. It's it's fun. Just do it.
Yeah. No one's gonna bash you. No one's gonna
Never.
criticize you.
Yeah,
Nothing
no,
like that.
there's
We're all here
no
to support you.
there was no like requirement for minimum for days you had to trade.
Yeah.
It's like you trade at your own, you trade when you can trade because that's the reality of it. And this, at the end of the day, it was to better all of you. It was for you guys to all look back and be like, if I had stayed consistent for 1 month with one thing and build a good habit. So, you know, traditionally when you talk about habit forming, it takes about 21 days or so to form like a habit. And that was kind of the idea, was like, how do we get these people to stick with the one strategy long enough to see that it could be worth using and to create the proper habits, which was like journaling, being accountable, taking screenshots of your trades, having to acknowledge like I have to submit this to somebody, so it has to have proper risk management in it. It can't just be like, oh well, I just closed out because I saw I was in profit really quick and then I got nervous. Like you can't do that. You know, there's certain things you have to do. So like keeping that accountability was important, and doing all this with stuff like what when we're creating it, we're looking at how can this benefit people. But obviously we have to spin it to be like, how do we keep you entertained and fun and engaged? Because a month is a long time, and a lot of people were like, how do we keep you guys still doing this at 3 weeks in? Which Jay and I truly did. We weren't sure. We are like, we have
I
no
was
clue
very
if at
happy
3
with the
weeks.
participation after like 2 weeks
Yeah,
because I thought
I
it was
was
honestly gonna diminish.
yeah, I thought we were gonna lose you guys after like week 1, and I don't know if the twist helped or if it was just you guys were finding benefit in it in the community. But either way, it was awesome, and we're really grateful to you guys who all did participate and showed up to be like our guinea pigs for
Mhm.
season 1 to see how it worked. And I'm excited to hear that you guys are all like willing to come back for season 2,
Yeah.
ready to come back, coming back as vets, which is pretty big stuff, you
Y'all
know.
some veterans.
Yeah, some
I've been on the
MVPs over here.
battlefield.
Yeah. I am
That's
curious.
crazy.
Yeah. What I'm curious about is to know, like, when you guys were looking back at your trading, did you see a progression in it? Or did you find that you kind of were just doing the same thing? Like when you looked back at your entries or journaling of some sort, did you happen to go back afterwards and notice like what would you have made? Did you look at any of that? We kept tally of what people would
Yeah.
have made, but I don't know if you guys looked at like what would you have made if you truly stuck with it. Or my other second, there's a two-parter here, is did you ever, and you can tell us now because season 1's over and the tallies are in, but did you ever submit your trades positive and then continue to trade that day and
Ooh.
went negative? Because you were
Spicy.
supposed to trade and
It was the
submit at
honor
the end
system
of the
too.
day.
Yeah.
It
We're
was an honor system because at the end of the day, you're only chipping your own selves. But I'm always wondering, like, because I know people do it. I know people do it. People will trade and then they continue trading because they just can't help it. Especially that 1 minute, it's so alluring. It just
Enticing.
sucks you
Feel
in. Yeah.
targeted.
And you get greedy. You're like, if I just take one more. Yeah. So I was wondering if
I mean,
people
like,
did that.
does it count if you trade on that account, post it, and jump on a different account and trade? Does that count?
No, Miss Navy, because you're
No,
profitable
no,
all the
'cause-
time.
yeah. It's no, and
No,
like,
no.
and that,
Because that's what I did.
yeah.
I jumped to a different account to trade. So I left that account. I jumped to a different one.
No,
So
you managing one of your 20 million accounts doesn't. No,
And that's what I was gonna say too. Like, you're not limited to just trade one account. Like, if even if you're newer, I don't really recommend this, but I'll still say, like, if you're kind of on the fence, let's say like Outback or Stairmaster or something, and you choose Outback, then you could still, like, on the side, like during the weekends or maybe like during your off time when you're not actually trading, just back test and Stairmaster, see like what it could be. But I mean, yeah, that's always recommended,
Yeah.
but
I mean, yeah, that's a little bit but for this, like we were kind of like working on the honor system, and
Yeah.
one of the complaints we got was that people felt like, oh, there's people have to be over trading, or they're submitting early in the day, they have to keep trading, or I guess some people are talking in the chat rooms talking about, oh, I entered into this trade, and they'd be like, oh, well, like they were supposed to be done trading for the day, they already submitted for their point. And then, they're like, I think that people were kind of saying, like, I'm pretty sure people aren't submitting at the end of their trading day. So there's a chance that they're actually not profitable for the day. And I'm just curious to know, now that it's over, if anybody's really done that, or and if you did, if you felt like when you looked back, you're like, damn, I should have stopped trading. Like, did you learn that lesson yet? Where you're like, should have, could have, would have, like I was up 2% and I lost 3% because I was greedy. Like, did you learn that? Because that was a hard learn for me when I was getting
Yeah.
into the point of trading. And if you look at my testimonies, you'll see I almost never go beyond a certain percentage. Like, I take, my 1 to 4 trades, however I stack or whatever's happening, and I don't continue to trade. Once I get my wins for the day, I'm done. Like, I don't go back in again and be like, let me get some more. Because I've learned a long time ago, when I go back is when everything goes wrong. So I was curious to see if any of you had that experience with this. Like, what was your progression looking like? And if you ever had that moment where you were like, yikes, should have stopped when I should have stopped. And if you learned from it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Go ahead, Lemons.
No, we'll go back to your first question. I think with progression and whatnot, I think the more that I traded my specific strategy, the more confidence I got. Because I know that when I very first started, and I don't know whether you noticed, like I was trading lot sizes of 0.01, 0.02,
Know
that
what?
sort of stuff.
Good for you, though. At
completely
least
fine.
you were like,
Be
it's
confident.
harmless. You can only lose so much when you do that.
Exactly. Yeah. No. I was making like 50 cents. It was fantastic. But as regards to continuing to trading after I submitted, no, I didn't. I only have specific times that I can, sort of during sort of in between clients and whatnot. So, like, I get on and I'll check the thing throughout the day, but like I have had that kind of moment, and it was before I started the strategy wars, where where you try and make a trade before your next client comes in. Oh, it looks like it's going to do this, so I'll just enter in now, and then hopefully it'll all go well, and then you'll come back and you're like, oh well, there you go, I lost $10. There we go. But yeah, I think again, going back to sort of what the whole thing is about, and as long as you're kind of sticking to those rules, then this thing will be for you. And I think that's the way you got to think about it. What is this trying to teach me, and how should I go about doing it? And as long as you know what you're doing this for, it's super beneficial.
No.
Yeah.
Jenks looks like he wanted to have a confession of some sort.
Yeah,
So,
that's your confession face. I can see it.
Wow. I did like first or second day. I reached out to Jay and I said
You did.
I messaged him like first or second day, and I was like, hey, please take off my point for this day.
Oh, you're so
blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
honest.
Now
This guy.
what Jay did
Yeah.
or didn't do, I don't know, but
Look
I
at
did.
Lemons, he's
I
like,
actually-
this guy. Stay
Actually,
over.
so to like
I totally came clean.
Not
Yeah.
an outlaw.
So to
move
end
at
that
all.
story, I actually kept his point because he brought that up, and I wanted to be like, this point, like, you got to deal with this point. Like, this is
Yeah.
this is your
Yeah.
own
On your
doing.
conscience.
I was pretending like I was his
When
dad.
it came
like,
down
you got to
to
deal
like
with this now.
when it came down at the end, so close, like end of the month, we're like up by like less than 5 points over Stairmasters. I was like, it's coming down to that one day that I cheated.
Ooh,
So I didn't know
would've
what he did. I honestly, I never
No, I
knew what he
kept
did.
it.
I trusted whatever he did, but I I
How
totally,
many
it was
points
like,
did you win? Oh, you won by a lot because of the wheel. Never mind. Yeah, never
Um,
mind.
but
And
yeah,
wheel
it was
spin, yeah.
it was like the first or second day. I totally just over traded. I got overconfident in what I was doing. And I had this mindset that, oh, the math says if I just trade till the end of my window every day, I get back to positive. So that's, I mean, that's not how that actually works. So yeah, so I reached out to Jay around like market close that day, and I said, hey, I kept trading. I'm sorry, please discount, you know, my submission from earlier today. And he gave me the old commission. He's like, I'm watching you. I'm watching.
I'm always watching. I'm always
But
watching.
yeah, but no, from then on out, I realized like how important the self accountability is. It's a huge factor, because if you're not tracking what you're doing, how can you see if you're making any progress? How can you even see if you're consistent if
Yeah.
you're not keeping
You're only cheating
some
yourself
sort-
too
Yeah,
at the end of the day. Like I
Yeah.
mean, great, you finished like really good in a competition, but at the end of the day,
Right.
next month you're not making money. So it's
right,
like,
exactly.
or you're not
Yeah.
doing as well. But yeah. No, it's,
Yeah.
it
And
happens.
there's no point in just going for clout just to go for it. Like
Yeah.
the point is, you know, there's no need to do that. And at the end of the day, like, you know, it's you who is, you're just gonna waste your own month of trading. Like you're just
Yeah.
wasting
Yeah.
time then.
Absolutely.
But yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I'm glad to hear that you were honest about that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that was something that people were kind of like, oh, there's no way of us knowing. And like our answer is, you, at the end of the day, we can only manage so much of what you guys are doing. We're traders too. We're busy. We run the community. Like we can't sit there and force you guys like to be like, let me see every
I'm the
MT4
police.
terminal. Yeah, like you
Police.
know, at the end of the day, it's you guys. Like this is for fun and this is to keep
Yeah.
you engaged and interactive. But it's you who should be using this as a chance to better yourselves, or you know, find those people, those connections to help you figure out like how to, you know, fix whatever maybe it is that you're struggling with, and your strategy and stuff like that. And if you're not using that and you just want to sit there and show off with trades and stuff, you know, it's your own loss at the
Yeah.
end of the day. Miss Navy, are you still awake? Did we lose you?
No, I'm still
Oh,
awake.
there was a delay.
It's 2 a.m., you know, so
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
I was wondering from your sake, if you had felt that you did okay as far as like where did you fall profit wise? Because you're normally profitable. Did you feel like you went above, below? Were you afterwards? Were you like, oh, I felt like I over traded a little bit in August, and like, did you tend to take September a little bit slower?
Yeah, actually, yeah, for sure. So, I think when I was doing the 1 minute, because the 15 minutes quite slow, it's like you enter, you know, you're patient, you leave it, but like with 1 minute, you had to kind of monitor it and kind of watch it as it go by, and like that did test my discipline at times. So I think the first couple or the first week or two, I did struggle a bit because I started jumping in trades when the smiley face hasn't printed yet. And then it was kind of all this the messiness, and I was like, oh dear, what's happening here? But yeah, it kind of went through. So that was why I did like the challenge, because it was nice to kind of go through it, because I'm doing, even though it's the same strategy, I'm kind of using it on different time frames. And it's kind of like in a way that I'm have to be disciplined again and try again without having to over trading, jumping in the trades you're not supposed to. If you see price skyrocket and you're like, oh damn it, I should have been in that trade. So yeah, it was a challenge, but at the end, turned out like, yeah, it didn't end up being profitable as it used to be. And I kind of like, now I do take a little break. So, days where I'm like, okay, I might want to sit down, stare at a chart for a bit because I'm free and bored. And I want to like catch up on stuff. I, sit on the chart for a bit and watch, or days where I'm like, I'm busy. I like to have that alert on and just kind of wait until it pings. So it is nice to have that flexibility where you can just look at the charts and be like, great, this is a perfect entry. Let me just enter and jump in.
Yeah. I mean, I 100% agree with you. The 1 minute for me was a challenge. So I think it's cool that since you do have a little bit more experience, you were profitable, that you actually took it as a challenge. Like you did something that would really challenge you, and didn't just take a strategy that you're like, oh, I'm going to kill it with this and just like cruise through. So, I mean, that was really cool that you did do that to be able to do it. So thanks for doing that, because I know how hard it was for me. I just jumped into 1 minute and I was like, shit, I didn't back test this. Like I was like the 75 probably works for a moving average, and I was like, all right, let's day one, let's just do it. And I had my own struggles too. Jay knows, he heard me complaining a lot on the phone. I'd be like watching the trades, which for me 1 minute time frame has always been a struggle, which is why I don't talk ever about it. Like I don't like doing it because I will watch and I
Yeah.
will want to tamper. Like I know I'm a toucher.
I'd
Like, I
actually
will
be working, and then
Yep.
she just started cursing out of nowhere. I'm like, what the? Why? What are you doing? And she's like, my
because it would
trade.
come. My trade. I was like, it would come like so
I
close.
was
to
like,
my
if
take
only
profit.
people could like listen to her conversation. Like, it's like everybody's like, God, Christy, you're so cool, calm, and collected. I'm like, no,
Not on
not.
1 minute.
Yeah.
Not on 1 minute. I'm a mess. And I do think that the first 2 weeks it was actually like that. And then towards 3, 4, I did find myself getting more like, okay, I'm used to the flow of 1 minute again. Because it's been a very long time since I truly traded 1 minute like that. But yeah, so I had the challenges in that way. So I thought it was cool that there's people who like are like Lemons and Jinx coming in as like brand new or
Yeah.
newer traders, and there's just all different levels. And then there's people like Ken who's been around for a while, and Ken, you're really good at taking like any strategy and just learning it, like, and just like being not, oh, okay, give me like a week, I'll figure it out and I'll just apply it. Like
Thank
I think
you.
that's so
Thank
cool.
you.
Like you're just like you just kind of like adapt, the chameleon of whatever we
Oh,
give
the
you.
chameleon.
Yeah, and but Ken's been around for
Well, I've
years.
never been called that before.
And I feel like you do that though. Like we can give you any time frame, whatever. You're like, I'll work with it. Like, I'll figure it out. So I think that's really cool. And I mean, I appreciate that too from you, like especially going into season 2. And and then there's people like me and Miss Navy, and there are a couple other traders who are a little more experienced or advanced, as Jay says.
Oh,
And
thank you.
and I think it's really fun that like we had to figure out ways to still keep it challenging and interactive for us too. And and it really did. There really were challenges for me mentally, and like I did struggle with the 1 minute. I definitely, I don't want to call her out, but the Outback trader who went for
The
tied me
outlaw.
for first. That outlaw gave me a lot of run
Bits.
for my money. Yeah, lots of days I had to wake up. I was like, God damn it.
No,
I
but
was
I
like-
tried
We'll
on
never know
Monday.
who that
dang it.
person was.
yeah,
Yeah,
nobody will
it's
ever
like-
know.
I was like, can you
But,
just lose so I can sleep in one day?
There was one day that person was
It was
pretty
close.
close. Yeah.
Towards the
I
end,
was
towards
like,
the end.
no.
Triumphant.
I was
triumphant
like,
return.
yes.
Yeah, I DM Christy. She's like, "Oh my god, really?" She's like, "I'm so
Okay.
excited." No, but
I was
Um,
stalking that chat room, and I was like, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna wait. And then the comeback came. I was like, damn
Yeah,
it!
there was so many kangaroo memes that day.
Oh, it's like flag it for over trading. No, just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm
Um,
just competitive. She did amazing, and congratulations to her. But she did not want to be talked about on here, which I understand her privacy. So definitely appreciate what she's done because I know how hard it was. But congratulations to her, and she was a big help in the Outback strategy as well. So
She was awesome.
congrats. Yeah. But yeah, so you guys, I really loved hearing all of your stories about this. I think it's really,
That's
really great to
true.
hear your guys' experience. But I'll let Jay
And-
take over. Oh, go
And
ahead.
there's a lot of female traders too.
yeah,
Yeah.
In the
Well,
community.
We're very
Which I
female
think is
friendly.
amazing.
Top 3, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Top 3 were all female in the individual.
at least 2, maybe 3.
Jay has to look.
I'd have to look.
2,
but-
definitely 2. I mean, I've already talked about this with Miss Navy that, we're just better, guys.
Oh, brother.
I think it's definitely a patience thing for sure.
It's
I
a
think
small, I don't want to say that we're better, but I think that there is a patience for sure that I think that maybe not, this is a very generalized statement, but I think that we're a little more patient and we're a little less risky. And I think that when it comes to risk management, most women I know pick up risk management like so fast. Like if anything, they're FOMO, they're not FOMO, they're the analysis paralysis. I apologize. Men tend to have this like FOMO feeling from what I see when I'm talking to people where they have that fear of they gotta take every trade. You gotta take every trade. The kangaroo printed, take the kangaroo. And you're like, why would you take that kangaroo?
Shots
Because it
Yeah.
printed.
Or well, I should
Really?
say
when I first
or-
learned about the kangaroo strategy, I heard it from Artie, and it was his just do this, and he put this beautiful picture, oh, you're at work, and then you get this alert that a kangaroo prints, and you just take it and you make money. And I was like, sounds fantastic.
I mean,
well,
chopping and
Artie
busting
like-
right away.
There's a little bit extra to it, to be honest. But,
Artie has a a talent for simplifying things. So you're like, "Ah."
Speaking of
Man,
risk,
he got me
though,
hooked. He's the reason I'm here. So
Yeah, no, I love him. He's a great guy. And he really does, in his mind, everything does get simplified because that's how he processes it, which is why he's amazing at explaining how he explains things. But sometimes when you're explaining, you're like, okay, already, but you've been doing this for years. So like there's a little more
Yeah.
that you're doing in your head than just looking at a kangaroo. But thankfully you have all of us to be like, hey, thanks for coming. But here's what you
a
got
little bit of reality check.
just to kind of rewind a little bit to go back into risk, because like what's a Christy and Jay podcast without me doing an analogy? So like I see strategy wars like casinos. Like honestly, people see it like casinos in the sense that trading is supposed to be kind of lonely. It's you up against the world. Basically, like trading, people consider it to be like poker, where it's like you versus everybody else. But I feel like strategy wars is able to make it like to bend it more like blackjack, to where it's like you're playing with each other. You're happy when people win. It's you versus the dealer, aka the market masters. It's not you versus everybody else. And so I think strategy wars like hits the nail on that, and like y'all all brought it up with camaraderie. So like I'm really thankful that like it was camaraderie is being is able to be built during this, which is super cool.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to Jinx's segment, so pretty excited about that. Let me share my screen. Shout out
For those
to
of you guys in audio land too, you'll be able to hear us talking, but if you're listening to the podcast, we'll link it as well for you guys to be able to go watch like whenever you have time. If you're watching on YouTube though, you'll obviously be able to see our reactions. But basically what Jay's about to show you guys is our strategy to trailer. Like
produced by Jinx and
Awesome.
Produced by
voiceovered
Jinx.
by Bear.
There was once a time of peace when the commissioner kept balance between the factions, but that all changed when the samurais attacked. Only the commissioner had mastered all 6 disciplines, but when the world needed him most, he pitted it against itself in strategy wars.
Why the samurais gotta attack, huh?
Don't ruin
We
it,
were-
Chris.
We were a peaceful bunch, Jay.
You ruined the video, Chris.
It's linked below.
The Outback Outlaws.
Heyo.
Nice. Fancy.
The Happy Trail Hoplites.
Woo.
The Stairmaster Samurais.
Boo.
Woo, 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 woo.
The Lorien Delta Force.
Boo.
Nearly $1 million in revenue. Over
That was like, if
1,500
we added
days
up everyone's
across
stuff.
300 traders. What does the future hold? And what games will the commissioner play? Strategy Wars is back. Round 2. Fight.
I like how I'm
Climb
player
to the
2.
top and be crowned a victor.
Welcome to the fucking show.
Oh my God.
Oh, that was awesome.
Oh, that's
was
really
great.
good. That's
Nice
really
work,
good.
Jinx.
Thanks.
Yes. Yes.
Welcome
thank
to
you.
the fucking show.
I feel like Jay might have said that we attacked, but we did not. Samurai
Yeah, I had to make Christy the enemy.
bad guy. I had to be the bad guy.
That's content. I knew you were gonna react to it, so
It's
no,
content.
like no Jinx.
We
you
were
went
the
ham.
nicest,
Thanks.
most peaceful bunch, the samurais. We didn't bother anybody.
Until
Nicely
Unlike
done,
those-
Jinx.
Unlike
Thanks.
those
Bear
people.
sounded great, honestly. He,
Yeah.
he, got,
Sounds-
he got
You
like
can hardly
that
recognize him.
synthesizer and stuff. Yeah, he sounded so good.
Well, fun fact, Bear used to be, or I don't even know what he does for fun, but I think he does voice acting or
He
something.
used
which-
to, yeah.
Yeah,
So
what a random
Make sure
skill to
you have some
like, comes in
earbuds, some
handy.
AirPods, headphones. Like it sounds really good when you have those in and
Yeah.
listening to it. But like I said again, shout out Jinx and Bear. This was
Yeah,
very
thank you,
last minute,
guys.
and they
Yeah,
just
thank
Yeah, it was a
you.
lot of fun.
It was really good. Thank
I don't
you.
know what the stuff at the end means. Jay was like, I have a vision. Can you do this? And I was like, okay. I don't know what it means for season 2 though. So
Now you know in the future, whenever Jay's like, listen, I have an idea, and you're like, oh.
Let's go with it.
What does
I don't
it-
know
What
about
does
that,
it
Jay.
entail?
that's the week I'll pick to go on vacation. Yeah.
Yes, that's probably what I should be doing. And be like, yeah, we'll talk about it later.
You see what happened here? No, but yeah, those really awesome. And that
No,
video
it's
is really
awesome.
cool.
It's
Make
really,
sure
really
y'all
cool.
check it down in the description
So,
below. Honestly.
Thank you guys so much for this. Season 2 will give you guys a bit of a tidbit here that it is going to have a sports vibe theme to it because that is Jay's
It's sports
vision.
season, baby.
So it
There's
only seemed
sports.
fair. I had my Game of Thrones where there was like manipulation and twist and like hidden rooms and like voting that nobody knew about. And, you know, I wanted that kind of vibe in the house teams. The teams will still obviously stay the same because we do still want to encourage the proper behavior of not strategy hopping, like the actual trading goals that we set, like they have to be, you know, we still want to make sure that those are honored. But there is going to be a little bit of a sports vibe here.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some fun new like ways that we call things, and the twists are definitely sports related. So still twist every week.
I'm
But
gonna draft Miss Navy to the Outbacks.
There's no draft, unfortunately. There's
good
no
luck.
draft.
She's Team Christy. We will be collaborating on what team we will be on. Me and this. But
We
we
definitely
actually
will.
though. For
No,
season 2,
with
though, what we
the-
have agreed on is also having captains in each team. So people who are like MVPs or stuff like that, like you guys. So making sure that every team does have the proper amount, if not 1, 2, or potentially even 3 people to be representing that are experienced traders or have done this before, like know the strategies well enough to be able to help newer people coming in. Because like you guys said, any level trader can benefit from this. Like truly, like I don't think that I think there was a misconception at season 1 where people thought they had to be good enough to be in strategy wars, and it's like you don't have to be good at all, honestly.
Yeah.
Like you can just
I know
be
that's what I
brand
thought.
new.
Yeah.
And I think I told so many people, it's like, no, it has nothing to do with how good you are. Nobody's ever going to make you feel bad for not having a profitable day. In fact, nobody even needs to know if you don't submit that day. It's nobody's business.
No.
But yeah, so I think it's all levels can at some point experience some sort of benefit from participating in it. And at the end of the day, it's like a month where you had some sort of like push, mentoring, you had a team, you had that camaraderie, you had people to help get you better. And you know, if it's not for you, no worries, like you can do it on your own too. But I do think that there is a benefit for any level trader here. And you know, we'll
Yes.
be making sure that there's like captains, and I think
Yeah.
the captains we're calling them, I don't even know. Well, we
No,
have
we're
some more
still-
information.
Yeah.
We will be doing
we'll
a
discuss that
shorter
soon.
a video on
Yeah.
Friday where Jay and I will go over the rules and the twists and the new stuff. But just so you guys have an idea, it is going to be sports related a little bit, some twists and themes in there. So
And then also right before we start, we're gonna have like a live Q&A. That way, if people have questions, then we'll be able to answer it.
Oh, that'll be good.
yeah,
That'd be
cool.
awesome.
That's
Yeah.
gonna be a lot of fun.
I think
Yeah.
that there's some interesting stuff that is a little more I don't want to say advanced because I don't want to scare anybody off, but definitely for the people who are returning for season 2, there's some more competitive stuff going on, and the twists are definitely like different, I think. But no,
Built different.
yeah.
No, I'm
Well,
excited.
I don't want to give too much away. We'll
No,
talk
yeah.
about it, guys.
We'll be talking about it soon. But guys, with that concludes episode 6 of the Strategy War announcement. Very happy for all of y'all, because I know Lemons and I know Navy, it's literally like 2-3 a.m. for y'all.
Yes,
So really,
thank
really
you, you
thankful
guys.
that y'all came on.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jinx,
you,
obviously,
guys.
for coming on and producing this. It was really cool.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, and like
Yes,
with
thank
that,
you.
yeah, with that, guys, we're gonna end it here, and look out for the next episode on next Monday on October the 24th. We might even sprout out some mini topics. Who knows?
Yeah,
But
we will.
Hey, thanks, Christy. Thanks, Jay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you guys.
thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for coming on, and good luck.
And
for
don't forget to
season
sign
2.
up for the Kanga crew.
No,
Outback.
don't
Don't forget
recruit.
to sign up for Outback. So, guys, we appreciate all of y'all. Stay safe and happy trading. Peace.
Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
What casinos do you go to that are that lonely, Jay? Like my casinos are popping.
Yeah.
But-
Well,
What casino do you go to
It's
that you
just-
can play blackjack as a team?
He's doing it
Yeah.
online.
No, I
Go back,
actually want
go back to the sports analogies. I think they hit better. How many decks are you people playing with? I'm so confused what casinos you
It
people are going
depends.
to.
I'm not gonna go into it. No, we're not going into
What?
it for
Are
you.
you that guy? You show up at the table, you're like, excuse me, how many decks?
No, it usually tells it on the. We're not getting into that. So
Yeah.
now,